Hi, this is Celeste with the Celeste Report, and today we have a very important discussion to have. And I'm going to share a few of my experiences through the International Exchange Program with a high school teacher, or it actually was a principal from Moscow. And to set the stage here, I did not get this from him. I got this hat. It's very warm and cozy, but that's about the only warm and cozy thing that you can think about. But that tale is for story is for another day. So now my hair is all askew. But I suppose we're going to be talking about revolution. And quite frankly, the Russian Revolution, as many of you know, began 1917, where the working class, communists, Marxists decided that they were going to rise up against the well off. And that is really what we are beginning to see in America, workers pitted against the well off, the haves or have nots, if you will. And so it began in Russia with revolution. Now, in those days, you could move and relocate. Today, we're talking about a global communism, the United Nations taking over the planet, the World Economic Forum, the technocracy. So we've got like a technocracy going here. So it will be a different, what I call flavor of communism, but I just wanted you to know. So, communism uses a central playbook, but each different country has a little bit of a different flavor. If you're familiar with false flags, it's kind of like they have a central playbook, but then the different ops have different um, objectives and that type of a thing. And we find that with communism as well. So, one of the things that you'll find in Russian communism is they believe in starvation. So, we can see this with the World Economic Forum and all of the climate change, the change in our food from good, organic, traditionally grown crops to all these climate ready things that are not even natural. As a matter of fact, the United Nations put out like a decade ago that they really, or maybe it was more than a decade ago, that they did not want anything from nature for food to come into us. Uh, the United Nations wanted food to be sold by the 1/1000th of a calorie or the kilocalorie, and you're starting to see a resurgence. When it was announced, it went very quiet. I reported on it, then it went dark. Now we're starting to see the implementation, only they're not telling you that that's what's happening, but it is. DARPA, on the other hand, wants to sell you food by the molecule. And you go, where am I going to get my nutrition? Where am I going to get my fiber? All these good things. You're not going to get it. So that this is in as far as food is concerned, you they believe in starvation, and that is exactly what the technocracy wants, is that type of a communism. Religion. Now, in other countries that have communism, Russia did have the Russian Orthodox Church. So their flavor or brand of communism did not completely wipe out religion for the people. Now, they may not have had a variety of religions. Maybe you had to go to the Russian Orthodox Church, but you could go to church or you could flee. But they were not that so stringent on the government is God. What about migration? What if you wanted to flee the tyranny? Unfortunately, these days it's global. In those days, what a lot of people did, including the family of my the Russian principal that stayed at my home, uh, his mother and father moved the family and they went to resettled in another place of Russia. There were places that you could go, like Siberia and that type of thing. Um, Even if you were not imprisoned, that you would have some space and that you could live off grid, so to speak. Uh, if you want to watch some shows that give you a good indication of what life under Soviet rule, communism, would be like, I would watch Dr. Zhivago, but the more important one that you can watch on YouTube, I don't know how you can get a DVD. If you do find a DVD, please let me know, because I did have a copy of the DVD set, but mine got lost in the moves. Is America with a K. It was from the 1980s. Chris Christopherson. I can't remember how many segments it was. It gives you the more, it talks, it's a storyline that shows what life would be like if the Soviet communism took over America. I mean, they talk about the food, they talk about faith, they talk about women having to turn to prostitution, they talk about the two-tiered government system, and they talk about what migrants, what happens to the homeless people. It is such a good program to watch, to get a good understanding of what communism, Russian style, would be in America. So if you want the full version of this, I have laid out several communist countries, and I'm sharing my thoughts and impressions with each one of them at celestialreport.com for my subscribers. I think it was about 3 hours long, and it's excellent. So I hope you come visit me, and we will see you the next time at celestialreport.com.